Welcome to the Money Down. We got a special guest here tonight. We got Wisconsin legend, NFL receiver Alex Erickson.
Greatness.
E-money.
Tonight, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Joining us, man. Taking the time out your busy schedule, guys.
Let's go, bro. This is awesome. First off, shout out to you, James. Congrats on the Hall of Fame, bro.
Yes, sir.
Like, you're obviously great on the field, but as we all know, man, you're one of the best teammates any of us have ever had. And I finished last year in New England, bro, and they still be talking about you in the hallways in New England, bro. That's just, but that, like, you know, all jokes aside, that's a testament to you and the way you go about your business. And as you know, like the way you play on the field is one thing, but the way you treat people off the field, like, is a legacy move, you know. And so, shout out to you, bro.
Appreciate that, man. But that's what we're all about, man. That was definitely the Wisconsin way, man. You know, when we were going through that process, that's a certain type of dudes that they recruited. And that's why we all connected, why we all bonded, man. It was similar type, different personalities, but we kind of had the same principles, the same core values. And, that's why we all connected, whether you're from Wisconsin, Florida, Illinois. We all became boys because they did a heck of a job recruiting the right type of talent. So, yeah, man. So shout out to all y'all, not just me. But, man, whenever we have guests on, man, we like to kind of go back to the beginning a little bit. So take me back to Darlington, Wisconsin, racking up all these yards in high school.
I see. Goodness.
Playing quarterback.
Playmaker, boy. Playmaker.
Just doing all that. Take me back there. What was that like?
Yeah, if you guys would have saw – who I was playing against. No disrespect. No, man. It was cool, man. I grew up in a small town. Like, you guys have obviously been in Wisconsin. And other than like Madison and Milwaukee, Madison's not even that big, but like Madison, Milwaukee, like everything's just small town, So I grew up in a super small town, but it was like football was like in the culture, man. Like we were like, it was like a Friday Night Lights type town, They went to state. The glory days of the 90s was like they went to state every year. And then it was just like that was – so as you grew up in that, like football just kind of became part of the culture and you wanted to play, And so I just wanted to play because, when you look up to the high school kids, they're no different than an NFL player, Like this is who you want to be.
Yeah.
And so I looked up to them, and I just wanted to play. And so I wanted to play. I liked offense. I played quarterback, and especially like small town, we ran like a wing tee, and then we got into like the spread later in my career. So it was you want to be running back, the running back or the quarterback, because those are the only two guys touching the ball the whole game. And so I didn't play receiver until I got to Wisconsin. We can get to that, but I was quarterback and. I just wasn't good enough to play quarterback in college, but man, it was cool. You look back on it, and I do a camp back there. Actually, I do a camp back there next week, and you go back to the high school field you played on growing up, and just kind of brings back memories because, as you know, like when you go through, you don't always reflect until it's over, and so you're always just on to the next thing, and so you kind of look back now at the journey and just all the people that helped you get to where you are, and just super grateful for that and. A super supportive community, small community, but yeah, man, they allowed me to live out my dream at Darlington High, and then somehow made my way to Wisconsin one way or another. And yeah, dude,
Darlington. They retired your jersey at Darlington yet?
They don't retire any jerseys, man.
No, what?
No,
they gonna start now. We're gonna do a petition.
You gotta be the greatest player to come through that.
57 touchdowns, 37 touchdowns. What? Passing,
bro, it's crazy.
3,800 yards, 36. Bro, you gotta retire. They gotta retire.
Yeah, bro. Has there been anybody before you to make it out of Darlington, to go to UW or any other D1 place?
Yeah, there's a couple guys that played at Wisconsin. No one really made it big. Kind of made it on the team and then played a little bit here and there, but no one really made it big. No, so I didn't really know anybody growing up that was playing D1, but. I grew up so in the conference we played in, Fenimore was in there. I don't know if you guys remember the name Luke Swan.
Yep.
Yeah.
Luke Swan. So I grew up watching like Luke was in high school when I was a little guy coming up. And so like you saw there was a chance, it's not like it's impossible. Like there's people doing it, so you just kind of put your head down, have the dream and just keep going. And then next thing or another, you got an opportunity.
Yeah, I want to ask you a quick question. Any siblings, like, were you competing with a brother or a sister, or where did the genes come from? Mom an athlete, pop's an athlete. Like, how did it all come about? Of like, getting it, because these numbers isn't just you don't get to just put up
a creative player.
you feel me? So, give a little background on the family history a little bit.
Yeah, I got two brothers, one older, one younger. Okay. But my brothers are like bigger frame dudes, so they played like on the line. My mom and dad were, good high school athletes, nothing like out of this world. But my brother, he was like 2.5 years older than I was. And so he was like at that range where I could never catch him because he was always older than me, but but it was close enough that I could like play and stuff. So I was always playing with my older brother and his friends, and so when I started getting to the point, where I could at least hold my own a little bit, like I was always playing against older people in competition and always getting pushed and picked on. And like, you're the little brother. And so it fuels you and you're always getting beat. But you're always competing, and so you just keep competing. And I think that's kind of I feel like that's a lost art now, but like at some point in your life, you got to compete and you got to take someone's job, man. That's just how it is. And when you just grow up with that, it's just, you don't think about win and lose. You just think I just got to compete, whatever happens, but I'm just going to compete my ass off.
100%. That's how I feel like I got good at football. Just like you. My brother's 3 years older than me, playing with his friends in the yard, whatever. The streets, 2-hand touch, the grass is tackle, like all that. Like I'm getting hit by dudes, 3 times my size. Don't matter. Get up, keep playing. And I feel like that gave me my competitive edge. Even in Little League, I was a little bit heavier at my age when I was younger, so I had to play with older kids. So I feel like that gave me an advantage. I swear. I feel like it gave me an advantage. By the time I hit like 7th, 8th grade, 9th grade, I was already had played against older kids. So, I'm walking into high school, 9th grade. I'm used to that. Like, I'm used to playing against kids 3 years older than me. So, I don't know if kids, do that type of thing. I know it's different now. They do it by age, but back in the day, it was weight. So, if you a little bit heavy, you couldn't necessarily go up against the kids your age. But, tell us a little bit about, that recruiting process. You're putting all these numbers in Darlington, video game numbers. Are you getting any calls? Like, did you go to any camps to try and put your name out there? What was that like for you?
Yeah, so I was doing the camps. Most of it was like the Division II Minnesota schools. Not really, like NDSU, North Dakota State was kind of like the only D1 AA school that I was really heavily recruited by. Had no scholarships, no stars, no nothing, man. I was honestly, but I hated that process. Like I hated the all that, because it's like so much you got to market yourself, and it's just cringeworthy stuff you got to do, But I loved basketball, and so I was like, if I'm gonna go play D2 football, or I could go play, or I was either gonna play D2 or D3 football or D3 basketball. I was like, well, basketball practice is a lot more fun than football practice. And so I actually committed to go play basketball at Stevens Point. Like I sent in my deposit. Like I was 2 weeks away from going. But I was talking to like the Wisconsin coaches like lightly, like, and then it kind of went dark and didn't hear anything from them. And then Luke Swan was on the staff at the time. Yeah. And so, bro, just I don't know how it all shook down, but he got to Coach B, and I somehow I go in the mail, and like they wouldn't even like talk to me. It's like the weirdest thing. They wouldn't even like talk to me. I go to the mail, and I got an acceptance letter to Wisconsin. And with the recruiting stuff, they couldn't like reach out to you at certain periods and all that. Yeah. And so then I reached out to them, and they're like, "Oh, we want you to walk on," but they wanted me to walk on because they were already full for the fall, because this was like July. Mm-hmm. And so they wanted me to walk on in the spring of 2012. It would have been, I graduated in 2011, so that fall. But then 2012, they wanted me to walk on, like kind of when the early enrollees come in, I was going to join them. And so, dude, I remember sitting down with my parents, like kind of going over the decision because, going to play Stevens Point was kind of the sure thing. You know, you're going to play, you know, you'd have a role, all this. And then Wisconsin was kind of like, well, they haven't really been recruiting me that hard. It was kind of shot in the dark.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, this was like a dream of mine. This is an opportunity that you're only going to get once in your life. I didn't want to have any regrets. And so I was like, let's take it. Let's take our chance and roll the dice. And so that's how I kind of ended up in Wisconsin, bro. And yeah, it was crazy how I got there.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so then I got to Wisconsin, and I was literally just a student that fall. Like, that was like Russ's year.
Yeah.
The Wilson year. Yeah. So I was just a student, bro. I was just chilling. Like, I was working out, doing all this stuff. And, you know, you're kind of naive going into it. Like, you don't know.
Yeah, no idea.
Right. Like, they could have pulled the walk on at any time, you know? Like, you get there, like, you go knock on the door, like, what are you talking about, bro? You're not welcome here. You know? But they stayed true to what they said they're going to do. And so then I joined. Bro, I was playing like intramural, like flag football, bro. It's like where the band goes, bro. Like,
over there by the show.
Bro, just going crazy at the on the turf field.
That's funny. That's
yeah, bro. So then in the spring, yeah, bro. I remember I joined in the spring and hit the ground running.
Dang. So I was just like, you were working, like you couldn't even go around a stadium, like you
I
weren't
couldn't do
like
nothing, bro. I couldn't do nothing. Yeah,
That
but I
is-
knew. I knew like I knew the guy like Sam Arneson and Derek Watt. Like I knew those guys just from like doing the camps and like the All-Star games and the high school stuff. So I knew those guys. But you know, like, what was I going to say to them? Yeah, I'm going to join the team. They're like, what are you talking about? Yeah, okay.
Did you play against any of those? Oh, you go ahead.
No,
I didn't. Oh, go ahead, Warren.
No, I'm about to say the same thing you was about to say, James. Did you play against any of them in high school?
So they were all bigger schools, so I never played against those guys. I was just playing. I was in the smaller divisions, so I never played against those guys. But I knew them from like just whether it was like AU basketball circuit because some of the guys played hoops, and then track, and just the camp, like going some of the camps we've done together and stuff. Yeah, bro, it was like the fact that it like all worked out was just it's crazy how it all played out. But yeah, that's how I just got to Wisconsin. It was kind of just I don't know. I should probably try to find out who like actually made some calls and like vouch for me, man. Because like, I mean, like that just didn't happen. Like people were, someone had to be like at bat for me, fighting for me, and I know Swan had a big hand in that, just because it was a similar story to him, and you know he ended up being a great player, and you know his career got short with injuries, but like I think that was just kind of the factor that got me an opportunity, and that's all I could ask for.
I was gonna say, man, I was gonna make sure, you know, we got to give you your kudos, bro, because like being a walk on, going through that, like at a big university, you know, coming in, not even being able to work out with the team, then coming in another spring later, you know, getting the opportunity to, you know, get into practice, be around the guys, and then working your way up to earning a scholarship and being a guy, bro. Like that's not heard of in a lot of places. Obviously, you know, we talk about Wisconsin and like the big walk-on tradition that we've had at Wisconsin where guys have made a name for themselves, played, been playmakers, you know, and then stepping into the next level. Like, what was that like for you? Just like that whole transition, like, you know, going from not being sure if they were going to hold up to their word to having a conversation, to have conversations saying, hey, we're going to use you on special teams. You're about to start your first game, you know, things like that. Hey, we want to offer you a scholarship. What was that all like for you, that whole like process?
Yeah, dude, it was a lot. I think going back, like I was just so naive. Like I just wanted to be a part of it so bad that like just being on the team was I wanted to be more than just a guy on the team, but that was just the first step. Like, man, I just see if this is actually going to happen. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, you get there and you're not, you know, being from a smaller school and like you're not recruited. So you're like, you have some self-doubt and all that. And fortunately for me, I had a really good support group. Like my mom and dad are great, and just surrounded by people that were really encouraging me and speaking life to me, and were always just like pushing me to, hey, just keep chasing your dream, man. We'll see what happens, type thing, you know. And so I get there, and dude, I had like no expectations, bro. Like there was no expectations on me. Like they're like, you're literally your preferred walk on. Like you weren't like you weren't on anybody's radar. And we kind of had, there's some staff changes that year, and so it was kind of new staff, and it was Coach B's last year was my first year there, but fortunate for me, the walk-on tradition was, and that's the beauty about Wisconsin, and kind of rings true with the NFL too. It's when you get there, no one cares how you got there. It's just a matter of what you do when you're there, and so. I kind of just put my head down. I was changing the position. I never played receiver until the day I got to Wisconsin. And so I didn't have good or bad habits. I just was.
Bro, that's crazy. Bro, that's crazy. Yeah. Never played the position.
Right. And they kind of asked me, like, you want to play offense or defense? I was like, man, I don't really want to tackle these mugs, so I'm going to play offense. And so I was like, play receiver, man. And so I just, and luckily for me, Jared was the guy there when I got there. And I listened to Amir's. That was a great podcast, by the way. I played with Amir in Carolina for 1 year. Yeah. Great dude, man. That guy's got a lot of energy, man. He's just like
I can tell from.
He's like a fountain of youth, dude. Like he was doing like these crazy workouts and but unbelievable player, great leader, great dude. But Jared was there, and so I got to learn under Abby, and like he was saying, Abby's like one of the most underrated guys, and his ability to run a double move was just like nothing I've ever seen before. And so I just wanted to try to do everything I could to be like Jared Aberdarius. And our games are similar in a way, but different in a way. And so I just tried to do what I did best, but then try to get some craftiness like he has. And so I just put my head down, man. In that first year, I was on the look team and just trying to figure out the position as I go. But I got a lot of reps, got to go against a great defense every time. Coach Ash just screaming down there. Coach Ash. So then my second year on the team, Abby was still there. But we didn't really have anybody else, dude. Like Duck was there. He was battling some injuries, and then it was kind of just the third, fourth, fifth positions were kind of up for grabs. But I was still I was buried, dude. I was at the bottom. But then we had a lot of injuries, dude, and so I started getting some snaps and just made the play every time. Whether it was like a little slant route or whatever, just kept showing up on film and just a little bit. And I tell guys all the time now, like as an undrafted guy, I was like, just make one play a day. Just so when they're watching film, like, that's a good play, Alex, good play, and just kind of build off that. And that's all I kind of try to do at Wisconsin too. And then that year, I kept increasing my role. And, I was the dirty guy, going to dig out the safeties, blocking for James. Like,
that's how you earn the reps,
right. But that was like, my role was to go block a safety in 13 personnel. Like, that was my role. Okay, great. That's my chance to get on the field. I'll go block a safety.
Yep.
And then, you build that trust with the coaching staff, and they know you can do it. And then they want to give you like just a little easy gimme, just like, hey, he's doing all this dirty work. Let's give him the ball one time,
Mm-hmm.
And so then after that year, so I kind of was getting a little bit of traction, on the role. And then Abby left. Abby was gone after that. And then so it was, we need a guy,
Yeah.
And so it was my job to take, or any guy's job to take. And so then that next year I was able to have a solid season and then go into my senior year and had a really good year and kind of set myself up to potentially play in the NFL.
I remember that.
2015 was your last season, right? Coach Chris's first year.
Yeah, so Paul's first year back.
So Coach Chris' first year back in. As a player that was on that team and just knowing, right, now I'm learning your whole journey. But how did it feel and what was it like in the moment to, I know nowadays you sit back and you can reflect, but, right, starting from ground zero and then 2015, right, being the guy. Like, I know all our offense and as far as the passing game ran through you. So as a person, just to see that whole journey, how did that feel? And how does that feel now to this day to still be one of those guys that are brought up in the conversation with like the Abbeys and the Wisconsin greats?
Yeah, it's one of those like the time tested true method of just like that organic confidence that just builds from doing the work and just earning everything you get. And obviously you need some breaks along the way. You need opportunities to come your way that just whatever, however they come, they just come, but then it's up to you to make the play when the time's there. And so I kind of look back on that. I'm like, man, I'm just proud to always put myself in position from a preparation standpoint that when the play does come or the one snap does come and you didn't get any reps all week at it, it wasn't your play to have, and you go in and you make the play, whether it's block and support, whether it's whatever the role is, like big or small, like it all adds up. And so that's kind of just like a thing I'm proud about the most. Like obviously going on and like having the success and the stats, like that stuff's great, but like just the foundation that was able to set me up for that, I think is what I'm most proud of. And because I know you guys have all played a lot of ball, and like being a backup is harder than being the starter. Like the starter, you get every walkthrough rep, every practice, you get every snap, like all the coaching points are directed right at you. But when you're not the guy, when you're the guy that's got to come in and fill in, and my role is kind of like I had to know every spot. I had to do the dirty work and all that stuff. And honestly, for me, like if that's what it took to do, like shoot, that's not too much to ask. Like I'll do it. Like what's another hour of preparing and learning the extra spot, even though you might never get in there on it. But then the one play you do get on there, man, you got to make it happen, or else that's just the nature of being a walk-on or an undrafted guy or whatever it may be, or a guy that's just trying to earn a role. Like you got to make every play count because you don't know how many plays you're going to get. And it's exhausting. It's taxing, but if you want it bad enough, you'll find a way to get it done.
100%. So you go ahead.
And this is kind of in a different direction, but like it's got to do with like NIL, right? With like being a walk-on, like really, can you say like the days of walk-ons are kind of like going to be gone at this point now in terms of with NIL happening, teams going out to recruit? Like, what do you think about that? Like, you think that hurts guys? You think that helps guys?
Oh, yeah. 100%.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just.
I think guys that were in like my position, like I bet in the NIL days, like I don't know if I would have got an opportunity. Like the minute Jared graduated, they would have brought in a plethora of recruits, bro. They would have brought in guys to fill that role like instantly.
Yeah.
And so, like I don't know if I would have got an opportunity. Like I think I would have carved out a role in some capacity, but I don't think I would have got the opportunities that I got just because they would have brought in a lot of guys and they could go get a proven guy now and not have to worry about developing people and all that. But that was Wisconsin's MO, man. We were always about developing.
Yeah.
Right.
Taking a 3-star guy and making him a 10-year vet. Like that was like Wisconsin.
Facts.
And so I think it's twofold. I think the colleges just go fill the roles now. But I think guys still need to develop, man. You still got to learn how to play the game. And like we talked about before, at some point you gotta face it, man. You gotta compete. Like you can't just keep transferring and expect to play. Like at some point you gotta face it, because like James, as you know, like in Soj, like you get to the NFL, man, like every year there's a dog coming in, a young buck that is like hungry to take your spot, man. And you gotta compete. Like that's just the way it is, And I don't think it's any different than college. It's like you can cop out and transfer, but that ain't gonna fix your problem. At the end of the day, you gotta compete. You gotta win the job, man. And if you do that, like you're gonna be a better person from it, but also like you're gonna earn your stripes, man. You're gonna be a dog.
Yeah. I feel like they're missing out on a lot of that. Like we talk about like, missing out on the team camaraderie, right? Because now you can just jump ship and go chase the bag somewhere else. You're missing out on, great coaching opportunities. But like this is a great point. Like you're missing out on the adversity of what it's like to work for something. You know what I'm saying? Or be challenged by who's in front of you. And even for guys that come in and bust their tails, right? Earn a spot on the team. Like you might miss out on a lot of those gems that, weren't highly recruited or might have been overlooked, in their high school days. And Wisconsin's made a hay on that, right? Like in their history. So like, I'm interested to see, like, is Wisconsin going to continue to walk on tradition, right? Are we going to have that? You know, is that going to be a thing still?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think the rules are changing with how many guys they got on the roster and stuff.
But you can have more scholarships too, which is a thing.
Right. Yeah, I don't know, man. It'd be interesting to see how it. I think it's dying, but you know, it's great for these guys. I don't. If you can go get freaking couple hundred G's in college, bro, go do it. But
go get it. Yeah.
Don't think. Like, I don't got a problem with guys going to get money. Like, go get your money. But at the end of the day, like, don't think transferring because you didn't play at this spot was the coach's fault or the system's fault, like all that. At the end of the day, like, if you're good enough, man, you're going to play. And at some point, you got to step up. You got to compete to get that spot.
Yeah,
100%. So you go off, you know, your last couple of years at Wisconsin, you finished 2015 nearly 1,000 yards receiving, number one target for us.
Okay.
Enter the NFL draft, and you know, once again, go undrafted. You know, what is that moment like for you? That draft process, you go undrafted, got to prove yourself all over again. You got to start that walk-on process in a sense. Same mentality. How was that like for you?
Right. Yeah, it was like the exact same model. I'm never watching an NFL draft again in my life. 7 rounds, bro. Like, you know, yeah. I mean, James, you were drafted. So you went undrafted. You get drafted.
Yeah, I went undrafted.
Yeah. So like at the end, like the last like 6th and 7th round, like they start calling you to like get you as an undrafted free agent. You're thinking you're gonna answer and get a call. So I started getting some calls, bro. I'm like, and they're like, oh, we're gonna see what we're gonna do here in the 6th round, then the 7th round. And at that point, you're like, man, don't draft me. Like, I don't want to go there.
I think where I want to go.
So I was either going to Minnesota or Cincinnati, but I had a really good relationship with the receiver coach at Cincinnati, and just kind of like he saw my game the way I see my game. Like he explained my game exactly how I would explain it, and I knew like. I just like had a feeling that he would go to bat for me if I could prove it, you know, a little bit, and it held true. And so I got to Cincinnati, and same thing, dude. You know, you kind of just buried. You're an undrafted guy. They drafted a couple of receivers, and you know we got AJ and JoJo. Brandon LaFell was that they brought him over. So we had some big bets. Yeah, dude. So it was cool, man. It was great to get in there and be around AJ and Joe, and we drafted Tyler Boyd out of Pitt. He in the 2nd round, TB. And so I was like, how do I get in the mix? And they had and I didn't really do a ton of punt returns. Like me and Soj kind of split my senior year back there. And so I didn't have like a ton of special teams experience. And so I really wasn't, they didn't really value me as a returner. And so that was like the craziest thing. 'Cause like Darren Simmons is the special teams coach down there. Shout out to Darren. He's like one of the best special team coaches in the league, but he's crazy, man. Like he's
crazy. Yeah, he's a nutcase.
he's super intense, dude.
Yeah.
And so, but we used to go out super early to catch punts, and he'd be like, "Hey, come on, catch punts." So I'd go out there and catch punts. So first preseason came around. We're playing the Vikings, and before the preseason game, they go, Alex, you're going to play the first and second quarter, and then you're going to be done or whatever. And so we go through the special teams thing, and like I never got my name called. Like I wasn't going to play any special teams the whole game. And so the fourth quarter comes around. They had a guy that they wanted to be the returner, this quick guy, and they had Pac-Man was doing it still, and then they had another guy doing it. And so I was just like, and then they had this guy that they're trying to be the next guy that could help Pac-Man. Yeah. And so it was Brandon Tate was the other guy. And
Brandon Tate was solid.
B Tate was a great returner. And so the first preseason game comes around, and it's the fourth quarter. Mario got hurt, and so it was like end of the game. He's like, Alex, get in there. Darren like just sends me in there because he knew I could catch it. Like that, he just wanted someone to catch it. Like just get back there and catch it. Well, anyways, the punter bombs me one, dude. I like catch it over my shoulder, and So I go, bro, boom, 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 up the sideline, 74 yards for a tud. First ever return. And then the next week comes around. We're playing Detroit in Detroit. And this is back when we played 4 preseason games. And so the same thing. He puts me in the fourth quarter. Boom, I knife one. I about to take the house again. Like, just yeah. And so then the third game was like the dress rehearsal game. So they're like, screw it, we'll start him. So they started me as a punt returner. Like, they're like, all right, let's see if this is a fluke or not. And so they started me, bro. Same thing, bro. I boom, boom up the sideline, like another like 26. Like it was just like it was just something. I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it, bro. It just happened. And so then before we go into the 4th preseason game, they end up cutting Brandon Tate, like to give him a chance to go to sign with another team before we can't, like doing him right, and like basically saying, I'm going to be the guy to be punt returner. Pac-Man was going to be the main guy, and then I was kind of I would come in and do some stuff too. And then, yeah, dude, I remember Marvin Lewis is like, everyone leave your phones on. Like, we'll call you, let you know. And it wasn't more than like 10 minutes. I'm like, I was in Cincinnati, so you drive across the bridge, and I was going over to Kentucky, and I was on the bridge, like literally 2 minutes from the stadium. Marvin Lewis calls me. I was like, oh. So I answer it. He was just like, hey, I want to tell you that you made the team. I don't want you to be worrying about it. Go enjoy time with your family, bro. And I was
Let's go.
Bro, yeah. I was like, it was surreal. It was so surreal, man. It was just, I don't know. It was one of those things. The opportunity and the plays just like happened, and that's what I needed to make the team. And, but, I share that story because what led to that was like a decision I made to go out and catch punts with Darren when I didn't have to, and like that just showed him that I could catch it, which led to the opportunity in that game, which led to obviously making that play. But that's just how that all snowballed from one OTA practice going out and catching punts, and so I like tell guys all the time, man, don't shy away from special teams. Like if you're not a starting receiver, like get on special teams, man. Like you want to be on the active roster, like you want to have a role on the games, man. And like
special teams is where it's at.
Special teams, you got to do it, man. You got to do it, especially in the NFL. There's only 46 guys being active in the game, man. You want to be one of them.
That's how you build trust.
Yeah, so many guys would have just skipped over that opportunity. Like, man, I ain't really catch punts in college. Like, I ain't really going to do that. And like, little did they know, like that little, just go out there, see if I can catch it, turns into, the reason why you make the team, the reason why you end up, having a 4 or 5 year career. A lot of dudes don't think of it that way. It's like, I don't really try it. I'm a little uncomfortable doing that. Like I remember I didn't catch punts in college for real. In New England, I was like the scout team punt returner. It's like whirling, like sometimes the ball hit me in the face mask, like all type of junk. Like that. And I just had to go out there and do it. And like, even if I dropped it, they still forced me to go back there and try and do it to see if, if Julian goes down, Danny goes down, like I potentially could have been the guy returning punt. So, I mean, it's just a great lesson for a lot of dudes, man. Sometimes you got to get put in like an awkward position that makes you a little uncomfortable. Just try it. You never know what may happen.
Yeah, and like the returning thing is such a niche too, and that's that bought me a lot of that bought me like 2 or 3 more years to develop as a receiver, and then I got to play more receiver. But then that bought me a year in Carolina, it bought me a year in DC, bought me a year out in LA, like last year with the Patriots. Like I signed later in the year and literally just punt returned. Like, I mean, it bought me 5-6 years extra, like just because, not that I wasn't a good enough receiver, but it was like, it was a role that needed to be filled. And if it was 2 guys that were even, well, if you bring value as a special teamer, he doesn't bring any value and you're about the same on offense, we're going to go with the special teams guy. Like that's how you add value to a team, and that's how you find a role.
I love to ask people, right? Like when you first got in the league, who was it that you were like, damn, that is, such and such, whether it was somebody on your team, could be AJ, could be Andy Dalton, or was an opponent, Pac-Man. I mean, you played around a lot of great players that have made their stamp in the league, but who was somebody you looked to and was like, damn, that is a superstar, or somebody that I've watched my whole life?
Yeah, I mean, we could probably do a Pac-Man podcast if we wanted to. But
I got some stories.
no, but Pac-Man, were you around him? Were you around him too?
I was around Pac last year.
But Pac-Man, dude, he competed though, man. Like he didn't he brought it at practice, and like I know he had some other stuff that he was doing, but like man, he brought it. He competed, and like he brought the competition up in the terms of the team. But the guy that I always looked up to in our games are not similar at all, but was AJ Green. And I don't know if you guys have been around AJ at all, but AJ is like hardest working dude, quiet dude, like going to show up, like take the coaching, like hated missing practice, like hated the vet day stuff, like was just a hard working
pro,
obviously all pro, like one of the best ever, you know. And so it's cool to see guys that have the talent, but then also back it up with their work, with the way they go about their business. And, you know, I think that's what separates guys from being all pro and guys knocking on the door, guys being all pro 1 year and then guy, you know, knocking on the door of the Hall of Fame, you know, like that's just the difference. A guy that could put in the work. But I respected him a lot because the way he treated younger guys, and he didn't disrespect you. Like he didn't make you do all this stupid stuff. Like he just, if you came in and like worked and did things the right way, man, he was all on board. And so I got a lot of respect for AJ, and he's obviously one of the best ever.
Yeah. You mentioned it a little bit about, you know, kind of going from, you know, different teams, from the Bengals to the Commanders to, you know, Carolina Panthers to the Patriots. You talk about some of the challenges of, you know, maybe not knowing where you're going to be year to year, or maybe having to sign in the middle of the season. You know, how do you stay mentally locked in, stay in shape, not even knowing when you may get a call?
Yeah, that was last year was the hardest because it was kind of later. Like every year before that, I was always signed before training camp, so I had a whole training camp with the team and all that. And then last year, I didn't get signed till like October or later. Yeah, it's tough, dude. It's tough like training is one thing. It's just like, man, I was ready. You know, you train like even at the end of before training camp, like, man, I'm sick of training. Let's just go play ball. Like I don't want to. I'm sick of running and doing lifting all this stuff. Like just go play football. And so that was the hardest part, just not being in the locker room and like around the guys, and just the camaraderie that you get from that. And so that was tough. But I think also at the same time, I'm glad that like if I was a young guy that had to go through that, it'd be really challenging. Like being an older guy, a guy that's played a lot and understands a lot of the systems and all that. So that really helped me in terms of learning playbooks and being able to jump in quickly and learn. And obviously special team stuff is pretty straightforward. But yeah, having that background and playing a lot of ball, like I couldn't imagine trying to do that as, you know, first or second year guy that, you know, like, and, you know, making a little bit of money before that too helps. Cause you're like, man, it's not the end of the world. Like if this don't work out right now, but like if it's your first, second year, you're like, man, I got no bread in the bank. Like I got no credit on the NFL level. And so it's really tough. And so I hope guys got a good support group and, you know, are, you know, got a good foundation of character and stuff. Cause it's challenging, man. As you know, James, like, and you, Soj, and even Warren, like the mental side of the game is so taxing and so hard. I think obviously we're all physically gifted and all that, but the pressure to perform every single day, like every time you walk in a room, like you're being evaluated, like, and every time you step on the field, like you don't know if this play will make you or break you, like in terms of the roster and stuff. Like, I think for me, it was always just focus on the process. Don't worry about all that stuff because you'll drive yourself nuts. Like, where am I on the line? Where am I on the depth chart? Like, you'll drive yourself nuts. So for me, it was like, what do I need to do today to improve? What do I need to work on and focus on that? Because that'll allow the results to come, and it allows you to focus on something that's tangible and something that you can actually work on rather than like, oh, there's 8 guys in the room. I'm the 8th guy. Like, there's no way I'm making the team. Well, thinking about that's not going to help you make the team. So what can I actually do to make the team? And so just keeping it simple and focus on the process of how you do things and showing up on time and doing a little extra after, and just putting yourself in position that you can perform the way you want to perform when the lights come on.
100%. We'll get into some fun stuff before we wrap.
Yeah.
This was Warren's idea, so
All right.
write this stuff on Instagram: the start, bench, cut. So
I like these. I like these.
Give you 3 dudes.
Okay.
Start, bench, or cut. Julio Jones. We'll go Calvin Johnson, and go a little wild card, a little crazy guy. Antonio Brown.
AV.
Start, bench, cut. So Julio, Calvin.
I'm starting Calvin. I'm benching Julio. I'm cutting AB. And AB did have like a 6-year run that might never be matched again. Like he did have that run, bro. Like, and I just the character issues, man. I gotta get him out.
All right, let's say if AB never had the character issues, what would you have done?
I'm still taking Megatron, still starting Megatron.
Okay.
Just because, AB, great player. Even Julio, great player. And, Julio and Megatron are kind of in the same realm, That X receiver, like a big body X receiver, it's kind of like a lost art now in today's game. But back in the day, bro, that guy was lined up in the boundary 90% of the game, and you knew he's going to run a 9-stop, a 9, or a slant, or and there's nothing you could do unless you rolled coverage to him. Yeah. And so you had to roll coverage to him, you had to double him, and that just frees everyone up. And he's taking up a freaking 1/8 of the field, and you got 2 guys on him. So now everyone's got all this space over here. It's just the same with Randy Moss, you have to roll coverage to him. You have to change your defense, because the one play you go straight man to man, 6 every time.
Yep.
6,
every time.
Especially you got a quarterback obviously Tom Brady, but even Stafford, easy. Let's check the play.
Get the
man to man, yeah.
They
touchdown, and it's over, man. It's such simple football when you got a guy like that. Just line him up out there and make sure that let the defense mess it up, and you'll score a touchdown.
Who's your Mount Rushmore top 5 receivers?
Golly, man, I wasn't prepared for this one.
Hey, you gotta bring heavy questions. Gotta bring it,
dude. Mount Rushmore?
Yeah, Mount Rushmore.
It's all subjective, isn't it?
It's all subjective.
Mount Rushmore is 5 or 4? It's 5.
I think it's technically 4.
I think 4. We're gonna give you top 5 because nobody like 4.
Top 5, okay.
Yeah.
Man,
you might get some hate in the comments, but aside.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a lot of hate because I'm gonna throw out some. I need a little homework.
And go 1 to 5.
No, you don't gotta come on, Warren. Damn, bro.
I'm trying to make it hot.
Bro, I'm gonna spin the question on you, Warren, because I'm gonna talk about actual route running.
Okay, I like that.
Legit route runners, bro.
I got a question.
And I'm gonna do it with guys I played with too.
Okay, bet.
Okay.
I like that.
Number 1 route runner, Keenan Allen, bro.
Monster.
Yeah.
You ask anybody, they study Keenan Allen, man. And I got to play with Keenan a couple years ago, and I've studied Keenan's film a lot, and he's a big dude, man. He's all 6'2", 6'3", but so twitchy, man. And we would run route and I felt bad for some of these look team corners, bro, because we'd run a Colorado route, a slant return. We had all these fancy routes for Keenan, and so we got to rep him, bro, and he would just be hooking these guys, spinning them like tops, dude.
Fair, bro.
It's not fair, and they're telling him hey, you're in cover 3, bail out, it's
setting you up.
And so, but Keenan Allen was the best route runner I've ever been around.
Okay.
I don't think I'm going to get through all this.
It's tough, man.
But then, dude, I would put Abidaris up there in terms of route running. I know he didn't have the NFL career, but in terms of just pure route running, you're watching a guy run routes, he was good as anybody I've seen. the different, like Keenan's so good at the line of scrimmage, kind of like a Devontae Adams. Like they do, like they have like the ability, they do like that square, like where they just come to balance on, and like it's coming. It's like Doug Baldwin used to do it too, where he would basically like jump stop and hop and just do like this, and the guys would just bro. But it's like, but they're so twitchy and they get on your feet so fast and. Like it's a work of art, man. It's like literally poetry in motion, man. It's beautiful. I mean, AJ's up there, one of the guys, but AJ wasn't a route runner. Like he could bend. But when you watch his routes, he was so explosive, like vertically, like he would threaten you so vertically that you had to get out of your back pedal so fast, you know, and that opens up when you know a guy's going to run a 9-ball a decent amount in the game, and you know, Soj, like, you got to get out of there, dude. You got to, and so that just opens up everything: the digs, the comebacks, the stop route. Man, I'm trying to think of other guys I've played with that were up there like that.
Tough, man. You play with a lot
of lot of guys. Dude. You know, another guy's really underrated is Terry McLaurin.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah,
Terry, bro. One of my good friends, he plays quarterback, and he signed with the Commanders last year. And I said, when you watch Terry, you'd be like, yeah, he's a good player. He's fast, explosive, all that stuff. But then, like when the ball's in the air, he just somehow comes down with it, bro. He just somehow comes down with it. And like he'll body catch it sometimes, like he'll catch it, but Terry's one of the best guys, best teammates. But yeah, he's an absolute dog, bro. Yeah,
he's the shocker to me because I played him my last year. He was at O State, and it's just like, you know, you play guys all the time, and it's like not that they weren't like, he was obviously all world at O State. He was super good, but then it's like when they get to the league, and you're like, bro, what? And like I played Saquon, and it was like Saquon was like, that motherfucker good, right?
Yeah.
I didn't have that feeling when I played Terry McLaurin, but then to see it in the league is just like, damn, like that's, I won't say ultra surprising, but it's like I knew he was good, but I knew he was that good.
Yeah, when I got to Washington, they were talking about him, and they thought he was going to be more like a role receiver and then a special teams guy, and then he just like made every play, you know, and just like kept making every play. And yeah, dude, he's
a monster.
He's a real dude, man. He's a real deal. He's like he is the quietest, like 1,000 yards every year.
Every year, somehow.
Every year.
This you don't have to continue your list. I know Warren trying to spring that on you.
Warren, you set me up, bro.
I'm sorry, bro. I had to ask.
We go back.
That's a good question.
About this on the podcast all the time. Do you think Puka Nacua is a top 5 receiver in the NFL?
No.
Yeah, thank you.
What?
Thank you.
No, bro.
Top 5?
He's close, though. He's close, but it's too many.
Not top 5?
No, bro. It's too many. It's too many.
Okay. Let me ask the receiver in the room. Why?
Yeah, ask me. So, I mean, statistically, he puts up stats, right?
Scheme.
Bro, I mean, we all know, like, and I'm not. He's a great player. Like, he's a great player. He's a great player. He's not top 5 though. When I think of like top 5 guy, like, there's not a lot of scheme needed for the top 5 guy. Like, put him out there. Put him out there.
Win.
Let him cook, bro. Like, you watch the difference between, like, I always use Devontae Adams as an example. Like, watch a guy try to press man Devontae Adams. Like, just watch it, bro. Like, they can't even get, they struggle getting a hand. Like, if you press 1-on-1 Devontae Adams, he's gonna get open every time.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? You know, like, and I don't know what that even explains to the answer, but for me, like, I just think of a guy that you're gonna line up out there, and not that Puka is not going to win consistently versus 1-on-1 coverage, but he gets a lot of his stuff off of, like, it's a lot of movement. It's a lot of, like, it's just a lot of gadget gimmick stuff, which is, he's great for that system. You know, he's hard to tackle, all that stuff.
What's the difference between him and I don't mean to interrupt you, but, like, for example, y'all gonna give me some crap for this, I already know, but, like, when Tyreek Hill was having his success, it was because of all the movement. He wasn't cooking. What?
Not quite.
Bro, you
Bro,
talk
he
no.
wasn't just cooking people.
Warren, I'm gonna tell you, and he can explain it from a receiver standpoint, and I can explain it from a corner standpoint. Right now, if I'm a cornerback and I walk into a meeting room on Wednesday and they say, "Soj, you got Puka," do I know I have a tough guard? Of course.
I was about to say, don't sit there.
No. Do I know I have a tough guard and I got to bring my A game? Of course. But I know I'm going to win some reps versus walking in and they're like, you got Jamar Chase this week.
You might win some reps against Jamar Chase.
It's a different fear.
Yeah,
I'm not saying nobody.
Different.
I'm not saying nobody
Stay the
fears.
3-eye, Warren.
But it's a different fear factor. It's a different fear factor when you walk in and you say, "Nah, you got 18 over in Minnesota this week. Good luck, 26." Like it's a different fear factor.
I get what you're different fear factor.
Right, it is.
I'm just biased. I'm biased to my guy.
Right, yeah.
He's super good though.
There's guys that, you speak to any DB, like there's guys they fear because of the ability to. I think the guys that have the ability to do both, the guys that can cut, like can do the intermediate stuff, but then also can take the top off. Because now you can't, like a guy like Puka, you can sit a little bit more because you can catch him on the top. Where like Tyreek, you got to get out, bro. Yeah. Like you got to get out fast.
Okay.
And guys underestimate his speed all the time because his little legs are just. And like he's gone, bro. Like when they run that deep pylon route and the safety, like it'll be like a deep third, like the middle field's closed. Like you're not throwing a deep over up. That safety don't get on his high horse, bro. They're just drop it
right
in
over
there,
his head.
He just outruns it. Yeah,
it's a different fear factor, bro. He's close though. He's a really good receiver. I'll never take that away.
Hope you're listening to this, bro. 2025, 2026 season.
No, he's great, man. Like, I mean, these are just arguments that.
No, for sure. I'm biased. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna tell you now. This is my team growing up, bro. I'm biased.
And I always
at your squad.
Yeah.
I always tell them I would take Puka Nacua on my team any day. I'm just.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
As far as just like route running, like all that, like I put this quite a few guys I might put in front of him just for that reason.
Yeah, four. That's it.
No.
The real thing is I just feel like if you're playing the Rams this year, I would assume Puka get the double teams, but like
Warren, let me ask you this.
You're crazy if you don't double team Devontae Adams. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
But Warren, who are you gonna take between Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson? Like I feel like that's like who are you taking out of those two?
I'm going Jettas.
I'm going Jettas.
I'm going Jettas. Jamar.
Dang.
Lamar, and they're both out of this world.
Fire. Unguardable. Fire.
I done seen that boy Jamar.
What if you had him on the same team? That's right. Like, golly.
I think the only reason I say Jettas is because look who Jamar has had at quarterback, right? Joe Shiesty, elite. Not saying Jettas hasn't had that, but I don't think that person's been Joe Shiesty.
I think Jet's a better route, just like pure route runner.
Way better.
But Jamar's after the catch, bro. That guy he's strong, bro. Like
that's legit.
So that's the thing. So you got a guy that could take the top off, but then he could catch a hitch, and you got to be able to tackle his ass, or else he's going to go 80 yards anyway.
You know what? I got another question.
That's tough, man.
I got another question for you, and it's not. I don't think it's irrelevant anymore. But you taking Jeremiah Smith or Ryan Williams?
That's easy, Jeremiah.
That's easy. Is it easy now at this point?
Yeah.
Because I remember at one point we was having this debate.
I mean, we'll see we'll see year two of this.
All right.
I think, and to like, I haven't seen it with Jeremiah yet. As far as not to say I haven't seen, because in the Rose Bowl this year, right, he had some plays where he flashed. But I think that's the next level step, right? Is he going to be able to take more hitches for 60? And to E's point, that's the thing that's so scary to me about Jamar Chase is because obviously bigger receiver than Jettas.
Yeah.
But it just always seemed like time and time. I think against Pittsburgh, I've seen it multiple times where he catch a hitch or a 5-yard in or a dig, and there's 3 people around him, and this guy is leaving people off the screen. Like I didn't think he was that fast. So he does have an argument as far as just being so strong and being able to have the speed that he does have. Route running rise though, I gotta go Jettas though, and
but that's why Jamar will always have like 110 catches a year, because they'll throw him the ammo screens and the like the hitches and stuff, because they're like, we just gotta get the ball in his hand, and that's how you get, that's why kind of the deeper play guys will have 55 catches and 1,200 yards, but then he'll have 110 catches and 1,500 yards, so it's all just how you use your guys to the best of their ability, And I mean, James, like you played in a system that was always finding the best use of guys, and that's, so you can't ever, I always hate the argument, the was it Bill Belichick or Tom Brady? Well, it's like you need them both, man. Like,
yeah, that's fair.
Good coaches have good players, and good players have good coaches, man. It's just the way it all works, man. I think. And I think that's why we had success at Wisconsin. Like, we had good coaches, but we also had good players, man. We did things the right way, and we were able to make the most out of what we had. And I think that's what made us what we were.
100%.
I got a question for you right before we wrap it up. Is there ever a game, right, college or league, where it was just a TV timeout and you just sat there and looked in this, 80,000 fans, and you're like, man, this is truly the dream? Like, I know for me, my freshman year against O State, Chris Borland, right, TV timeout, he told me, he was like, man, so look at this, right? And then 2 plays later, he goes to meet Carlos Hyde for that goal line stand. I think it might have been literally like 2 plays where they just met. So is there ever a game that you just go back and you just look and just like, man, this is the dream, I'm living it out?
Yeah, I think for me it was later. It was when I was with the Chargers. It was later in the year. We were playing like the Broncos, like late in the year, and we had the ball. We had the ball with a chance to drive down and tie the game, and it was a TV, long TV timeout. And I remember like crowd was already like cheering loud, and I remember like just, and one of the receivers, we were always kind of like talking a lot about life and just perspective and all that stuff. And I remember like looking at him and be like, man, this is as good as it gets, like that, just that gratitude of just trying to seize the present moment and just live in it. And because there's not many, like at some point you're never gonna get back in that huddle, and when the crowd's roaring, you got a chance to win. Like that's why you play, man. You play to have an opportunity to win the game, and you want to be the guy that catches the ball or makes the play or blocks the guy so James can go 80 yards, or whatever it is. Like, and so I remember that moment. I wish when I was younger I had a little bit more perspective on that, of just trying to enjoy it a little bit more. I didn't really, and not that I didn't enjoy it, but I didn't fully enjoy it until like later in my career. And I think it was partly just because you're always scrapping for the next opportunity, the next, trying to just keep advancing yourself. And so, but no, so it was cool when I got to LA because I got cut. I was in New York with the Jets. I had a really good camp. Thought I was gonna make team, got cut, go home. And you're like, man, this was my going into my 8th year. And you're like, man, I don't know. This could be it, because I didn't play a ton the year before, and so I was like, man, this is probably my last opportunity. Then the Chargers called me like 2 days later, and I signed out there, and then I started the P squad, and I got activated after Mike Williams got hurt early in the year, and so that whole year, man, I was just like, I'm just gonna enjoy the crap out of this year because I don't know if this might be the last one, Yep. And I ended up playing really good ball because you're just free, you're just enjoying the moment, and you're not worried about anything other than just what's right in front of you. And when you do that in life, you enjoy the moment, especially with, we all got kids now. Like, it's easy to get home and be distracted with your phone and things you want to get done and all this stuff, and but then when you just sit there and spend time with him, you're like, man, this is pretty cool stuff, And I think it's the same way in football and life, and obviously raising your kids. Like, obviously there's days that are hard and tough, and like just put these little buggers to bed. But those are the moments like you're gonna look back and be like, man, I'm glad I went through those tough times. I'm glad it was hard. Like, because that's what made it worth it. Because it wasn't hard. Everyone would do it, man, and that's why we were able to do what we were able to do, because we were able to somehow scrap our way through it.
Yeah.
You know,
100%, man. You got
Hey,
you
so
know,
James, I got one more. Bro, can you talk a little bit about your football camp and what you got going on, man? I think it's amazing that you're giving back to the community. You know, I think that's awesome that, you know, you're helping out the youth and things like that, bro. I just want to give you flowers for that, and just want to hear, you know, for those that can't make it this time, maybe catch the next one.
Yeah, back at Darlington High, man, where it all began. So I started doing a camp back there. It's my 8th year doing it.
Nice.
My wife and I got a charity, and so we used to charge a little bit just to raise money for charity, and then we're like, forget that. Let's just, whoever wants to come. We'll just throw in the camp, and we got some Badger guys coming down this year, and just try to get, you know, I've had guys that I played with come down. I just want kids to, and we've had anywhere from like 200 to 300 kids, 350 kids.
Wow,
like,
that's awesome.
So it's cool because you don't always like know the impact you're having on people sometimes. Then you throw an event and like these many people show up, you're like, dang, I didn't realize it was, you know, that big of a deal. But for me, it's like being from a small town, being from a community that you know, a lot of people go on to be farmers and just like trade workers and all that stuff, which those are great careers. But at the end of the day, if you got a dream, man, chase it, and you never know how it could turn out. And so for me, it's just like getting back there and just being around the kids, just show them that it wasn't like anything out of this world that I did to get to where I wanted to go. You know, it was being able to put yourself out there, not being afraid to fail, and just going after something. And whether it was I make the NFL or not, like that's not what it's about. It's about, you know, maximizing your potential as a human being. And so that's basically what the camp's all about. Just we come out, we do like a combine style thing where kids run 40s, and, you know, kids love seeing their
that's cool
6:40 they run. No, it's cool, man.
Progress.
Like, yeah, exactly.
I'm about to say, that's me now.
Right? Yeah. Got a spot for you, Warren. But no, it's cool to do that. And we get it. Yeah, we get into the football stuff and just give out free stuff and just have a fun day. You know, that's what it's all about. Because at the end of the day, it's a game, and we're just trying to have fun, and so that's what we try to do. So yeah, it's cool. I appreciate you asking.
Most def.
That's what's up, man. We appreciate you taking the time out your schedule to join us. It's a dope episode. A lot of great messaging, obviously from sports, life, you know, fatherhood, all that good stuff, man. So appreciate you, man. Appreciate you.
I appreciate you guys, man. I know. I wish we could see each other more, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Most def.
Hopefully at a Badger game or something, you know.
Well,
we'll have to do that.
Oh yeah. Maybe at a
Badger
game. I'll be on the other side.
Y'all play in Madison this year, right?
Madison, yeah, y'all.
We'll have to make that shape.
Yeah, pull up.
Boo, James Warren. you know how fans get, man.
Oh yeah.
Guys got his name up in the banners. They're still gonna boo the man. You know?
Bro, they gonna get him at a farewell tour.
It's just that orange don't look good on him. You know, like it just don't look right.
Red and white looks so much better.